Are you looking at your garden this March, feeling a little underwhelmed? Are your houseplants looking sad and pale after a long, hard winter? You've given them water, you've given them sunlight, but they just seem stuck. What if I told you that the secret to explosive, vibrant growth is probably already sitting in your medicine cabinet or your pantry right now? And what if I told you it only takes one single spoonful to unlock their full potential? In this video, we are going to reveal the simple, cheap, and incredibly powerful ingredient that will completely transform your garden this spring. So, put down that expensive, complicated fertilizer, because after you watch this, you will never look at your plants or your bathroom cabinet the same way again. Stay tuned. All right, let's pull back the curtain on this mysterious ingredient. The secret weapon we're talking about is Epsom salt. Now, hold on. Before you run to your kitchen and grab the table salt shaker, I need to be extremely clear. We are absolutely not talking about the sodium chloride you put on your food. In fact, regular table salt is a death sentence for most plants. What we are talking about is a completely different chemical compound. Epsom salt is its common name, but scientifically, it's known as magnesium sulfate. It's a naturally occurring mineral compound that's rich in, you guessed it, magnesium and sulfur. Think of it not as a salt, but as a pure, concentrated mineral supplement for your plants. It's a hack that's been passed down through generations of gardeners for one simple reason. It delivers stunning results by providing two of the crucial secondary nutrients that plants crave, especially at the beginning of the growing season. So let's get into the simple science of why this works, starting with the M in MVP, magnesium. Magnesium is the absolute cornerstone of chlorophyll, the pigment that makes your plant's leaves green. You can think of the magnesium atom as the central core of the chlorophyll molecule. Without sufficient magnesium, the plant simply cannot produce enough chlorophyll. This leads to a condition called chlorosis, which you've likely seen before. It's when the leaves, especially the older ones, start to turn yellow between the veins, while the veins themselves might stay green. It's a clear signal that your plant is struggling to photosynthesize, which is how it creates its food and energy. By adding a spoonful of Epsom salt, you are providing a direct, easily absorbable source of magnesium, allowing the plant to ramp up chlorophyll production. The result: those pale, yellowing leaves can transform into a deep, lush, vibrant green, a visual sign of a healthy, well-fed, and efficient plant. Now let's talk about the other half of this power duo: sulfur. Sulfur might not get as much attention as magnesium, but it is just as vital for a plant's overall health and vigor. It's a critical component for building proteins, amino acids, enzymes, and vitamins within the plant. Think of sulfur as a fundamental building block. It helps the plant develop strong cell walls and plays a major role in its metabolic processes. Furthermore, sulfur is responsible for giving many plants, like onions and garlic, their characteristic flavor and aroma. A sulfur deficiency can lead to stunted growth and yellowing leaves, often looking very similar to a nitrogen deficiency. By using magnesium sulfate, you're not just greening up the leaves. You're also providing the essential sulfur that helps the plant build its internal structure, improve its overall resilience, and enhance its natural functions from the inside out. It's a 2-for-1 nutrient boost that addresses health at a cellular level. One of the most immediate and satisfying benefits you'll see after using Epsom salt is the dramatic greening of your plant's foliage. This isn't just a cosmetic improvement, it's a sign of renewed health. As we discussed, the magnesium directly fuels the production of chlorophyll. When a plant is deficient, it's like a factory running with a parts shortage. By providing that missing part, you allow the factory to run at full capacity again. You can often see a noticeable difference in just a matter of days, especially if you use a foliar spray, which we'll cover later. This rapid green-up means the plant can photosynthesize more effectively, converting more sunlight into energy. This newfound energy doesn't just stay in the leaves, it's transported throughout the plant to fuel every other function, from root growth to flower production. It's the first, most visible step in the chain reaction that leads to explosive growth. While vibrant green leaves are what we see on the surface, what's happening underground is just as important, if not more so. A healthy plant needs a robust and extensive root system to anchor itself and absorb water and nutrients. Magnesium plays a crucial, though indirect, role here. It significantly aids in the uptake of other essential nutrients, most notably phosphorus. Phosphorus is the key nutrient responsible for stimulating strong root development, hastening plant maturity, and promoting flowering. Sometimes there might be plenty of phosphorus in the soil, but the plant can't access it effectively. Magnesium acts like a key, unlocking the plant's ability to draw in that phosphorus. So by adding Epsom salt, you are not only feeding the plant magnesium and sulfur, but you're also helping it make better use of the other nutrients already present in the soil. This leads to a stronger, deeper, and more efficient root system, which is the foundation for a resilient and productive plant. For many gardeners, the ultimate goal is a beautiful display of flowers or a bountiful harvest of fruits and vegetables. Epsom salt can be your secret weapon to achieve just that. Plants that are heavy feeders, like roses, tomatoes, and peppers, require a significant amount of energy to produce blossoms and fruit. This is where the benefits of magnesium really shine. By boosting chlorophyll and improving photosynthesis, you're essentially supercharging the plant's energy factories. This surplus energy can then be directed towards the demanding process of flowering and fruiting. Many experienced gardeners swear that a regular application of Epsom salt leads to more prolific blooms on their roses and a significantly higher yield of larger, tastier tomatoes and peppers. It helps prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers, which is often linked to a calcium imbalance that can be exacerbated by a magnesium deficiency. It's a simple step that can pay off with a much more impressive and rewarding harvest. You may have heard the rumor that sprinkling Epsom salt around your plants can act as a natural pest deterrent, particularly for slugs and snails. The theory is that the sharp, crystalline structure of the salt will irritate their soft bodies, creating a barrier they won't want to cross. Let's address this common garden myth. While it's true that a thick, dry line of Epsom salt crystals might deter a slug for a short time, its effectiveness is highly questionable and short-lived. As soon as the salt gets wet from rain, dew, or watering, it dissolves into the soil and the barrier disappears. Furthermore, you'd need to use a very large amount to create any kind of meaningful physical barrier. And as we'll discuss later, using too much Epsom salt can actually harm your soil and plants. So while it offers incredible nutritional benefits, you should not rely on it as your primary method of pest control. Stick to proven methods for deterring slugs and snails and use Epsom salt for what it does best: feeding your plants. So, which plants will give you a standing ovation for an Epsom salt treatment? Generally, you want to focus on plants that are known as heavy feeders, especially those that are particularly demanding of magnesium. The undisputed champions in this category are plants in the nightshade family. This includes tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. These plants use a lot of magnesium to produce their abundant fruit, and they will show their appreciation with healthier growth and better yields. Another famous fan of Epsom salt is the rose. Rose growers have long used it to encourage more vibrant blooms and lush, dark green foliage. Other plants that often benefit include potatoes, carrots, and even your lawn, which can become greener and thicker with a light application. As a general rule, if you're growing plants that produce large fruits or a profusion of flowers, there's a good chance they'll respond positively to a little magnesium boost in March as they wake up for the season. Now, this is critically important. Epsom salt is a fantastic supplement, but it is not a one-size-fits-all miracle cure. Some plants absolutely do not want this treatment, and you could do more harm than good. The main group to be cautious with are plants that thrive in acidic soil. This includes popular plants like blueberries, azaleas, rhododendrons, and other acid-loving ericaceous plants. Epsom salt has a relatively neutral pH, but adding it can slightly raise the soil pH over time, making it more alkaline. This can interfere with the ability of acid-loving plants to absorb essential nutrients like iron. Additionally, some plants are simply sensitive to high levels of magnesium in the soil. Many succulents and cacti, for example, are adapted to low nutrient environments and do not need the extra boost. The golden rule is to always do a little research on your specific plant. When in doubt, it's better to err on the side of caution and skip the application for these particular varieties. Before you rush out and start applying Epsom salt to everything, it's worth asking an important question. Does your soil actually need it? Epsom salt is a supplement designed to correct a specific deficiency in magnesium and sulfur. It is not a balanced fertilizer. If your soil already has an abundance of magnesium, adding more is not only wasteful but can be counterproductive. An excess of magnesium can interfere with the plant's ability to absorb other crucial nutrients, particularly calcium. This can lead to its own set of problems, like the aforementioned blossom end rot. The absolute best way to know for sure what your soil needs is to conduct a simple soil test. You can get inexpensive home kits online or at a garden center, or for a more detailed analysis, you can send a sample to your local cooperative extension service. A soil test takes the guesswork out of gardening and allows you to give your plants exactly what they need, when they need it. Now for the fun part, how to actually use it. One of the fastest and most effective methods is creating a foliar spray. Foliar is just a fancy word for feeding through the leaves. Plants can absorb small amounts of nutrients directly through tiny pores in their foliage, called stomata. This method provides a rapid boost, perfect for a plant that is showing visible signs of magnesium deficiency, like yellowing leaves. The recipe is incredibly simple. Just dissolve 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in 1 gallon of lukewarm water. Stir it thoroughly until all the crystals are completely dissolved to avoid clogging your sprayer. Then pour the solution into a clean spray bottle and generously mist the leaves of your plants, making sure to cover both the tops and undersides. It's best to do this in the early morning or on a cloudy day to avoid the risk of leaf scorch from the sun. You might be wondering why a foliar spray can work so much faster than just watering the soil. The answer lies in the plant's anatomy. The journey for a nutrient from the soil to the leaves is a long one. It has to be dissolved in water, absorbed by the roots, and then transported all the way up through the plant's vascular system or its internal plumbing. This process takes time. A foliar spray, on the other hand, is like a direct delivery service. By applying the nutrient-rich solution directly to the leaves, you bypass the entire root system. The plant's stomata absorb the magnesium and sulfur almost immediately, putting them to work right where they're needed most for photosynthesis. This makes it an excellent choice for a quick fix when you see deficiency symptoms or when you want to give your plants an immediate pick-me-up as they begin their spring growth spurt. It's an efficient way to deliver targeted nutrition for fast, visible results. The second primary method of application is the classic soil drench. This technique delivers the nutrients directly to the root zone, providing a more sustained, long-term benefit compared to a foliar spray. This is a great method to use for routine monthly feedings throughout the growing season. The recipe is just as simple, but you can use a slightly stronger concentration. A good rule of thumb is to dissolve 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt in 1 gallon of water. Again, make sure it is fully dissolved. Then, simply use this solution to water your plants at their base as you normally would. For in-ground plants like tomatoes or roses, you can use about half a gallon to 1 gallon of the solution per plant. For potted plants, just water them until you see a little bit of drainage from the bottom of the pot. This method ensures the magnesium and sulfur are available in the soil for the roots to absorb over time, supporting the plant's foundational health. So why are we specifically talking about March? Timing is absolutely crucial for getting the most out of your Epsom salt application. March, in most temperate climates, marks the beginning of the spring growing season. Your plants, whether they've been dormant outdoors or just enduring lower light indoors, are starting to wake up. Their metabolic processes are kicking into high gear, and their demand for nutrients is about to skyrocket. Applying a dose of magnesium and sulfur right at this moment is like giving a marathon runner a nutritious breakfast before a big race. It provides them with the essential building blocks they need, right when they need them most, to produce new leaves, stems, and roots. You'll want to apply it after the danger of the last hard frost has passed, and you see the first signs of new growth. This initial application sets the stage for a season of healthy, vigorous development. With something that works this well, it can be tempting to think that more is better. This is a critical mistake. When it comes to any fertilizer or supplement, including Epsom salt, consistency is far more important than quantity. Over-application can lead to a harmful buildup of mineral salts in the soil, which can damage roots and, as we mentioned, lock out other vital nutrients like calcium. So how often should you apply it? A good, safe schedule is to apply it once every 4 to 6 weeks. This generally translates to once a month during the peak growing season, which is typically from spring through late summer. For most plants, this is more than enough to supplement their magnesium and sulfur needs without overwhelming them. Mark it on your calendar. A monthly treat is all they need. Remember, our goal is to supplement, not to saturate. Restraint is the key to successfully using this powerful tool. Let's dive deeper into the most common mistake gardeners make with Epsom salt: using way too much. It's an easy trap to fall into. If one spoonful is good, a whole cup must be amazing, right? Wrong. The science behind this involves something called nutrient antagonism. Different minerals in the soil compete for uptake by the plant's roots. When you drastically increase the concentration of one mineral, like magnesium, you can effectively block the absorption of another. The classic antagonism is between magnesium and calcium. Calcium is essential for strong cell walls and preventing issues like blossom end rot in tomatoes. If you flood the soil with magnesium, the plant's roots will have a much harder time absorbing the calcium, even if there's plenty of it in the soil. This can lead to weak, stunted plants and poor fruit development. You're trying to solve one problem, but are actually creating another, more serious one. Always stick to the recommended dilutions we've discussed. Here is another common mistake that can have negative consequences, especially for potted plants or those in very dry conditions. Never apply an Epsom salt solution, or any fertilizer for that matter, to bone-dry soil. A plant's roots are sensitive. When the soil is very dry, the fine root hairs are already under stress. If you then pour a concentrated mineral salt solution onto them, it can draw moisture out of the roots through osmosis, effectively burning them. This can cause significant damage to the root system, leading to wilting and poor nutrient uptake. The simple way to avoid this is to always water your plant thoroughly with plain, regular water first. Wait about an hour or so, and then apply your Epsom salt soil drench. This ensures the soil is moist and the plant is well hydrated, allowing the roots to absorb the nutrients safely without the risk of osmotic shock or chemical burn. It's an extra step that makes a huge difference. Don't think this amazing hack is just for your outdoor garden. Your indoor houseplants can benefit immensely from an Epsom salt treatment too. Houseplants spend their entire lives in a limited amount of soil within a pot. Over time, as you water them, essential minerals like magnesium can be leached out and washed away, leading to a deficiency. This is often why older houseplants start to look pale and lackluster. A light monthly feeding with Epsom salt during their growing season, typically spring and summer, can work wonders. The recipe is the same, 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water. It's particularly beneficial for lush, leafy tropicals like ferns, pothos, and calatheas, which appreciate the boost for their foliage. Just be mindful of plants like succulents and cacti that prefer a leaner soil. For most common houseplants, however, this simple supplement can be the key to keeping them looking vibrant and healthy all year round. Starting seeds is an exciting but delicate process. Those tiny seedlings need all the help they can get to develop into strong, healthy plants. A very mild dose of Epsom salt can give them a fantastic head start. The magnesium and sulfur are vital for early chlorophyll production and root development. Once your seedlings have developed their first set of true leaves, which are the second set of leaves that appear, you can give them their first gentle feeding. Use a much more diluted solution than you would for a mature plant. A good starting point is about 1 teaspoon of Epsom salt per gallon of water. Use a mister to gently spray the seedlings, or use the solution to water them from the bottom of the tray. This provides just enough of a nutrient boost to encourage robust growth without overwhelming their delicate, developing root systems. It's a great way to ensure your young plants are strong and ready for transplanting when the time comes. For those who are committed to organic gardening, the question of whether a product fits within that philosophy is very important. So is Epsom salt considered organic? The answer is a resounding yes. Epsom salt is not a synthetic, man-made chemical. It is a naturally occurring mineral compound, typically harvested from geological deposits or created by processing natural mineral water. The National Organic Program, which sets the standards for organic agriculture in the United States, lists magnesium sulfate as an approved substance for use in organic farming, provided it is derived from a natural source. This means you can use Epsom salt in your garden with confidence, knowing that you are adhering to organic principles. You are simply adding a pure, natural mineral back into the soil, which is the very essence of sustainable and organic gardening. It's a clean, simple, and effective tool for any organic gardener's toolkit. Let's talk about one of the best parts of this entire strategy, the incredible value. Walk into any garden center and you'll be faced with a dizzying array of specialized fertilizers. You'll see bloom boosters, fruit enhancers, and leaf greeners, each in its own fancy bottle with a hefty price tag. Many of these products are effective, but their primary active ingredient for boosting green and blooms is often, you guessed it, a form of magnesium. By buying a simple bag of pure Epsom salt from a pharmacy or grocery store, you are essentially cutting out the middleman and the expensive marketing. A large bag, which can cost just a few dollars, will last you an entire gardening season, or even longer. When you compare the cost per application to almost any commercial fertilizer on the market, the savings are astronomical. It is arguably the single most cost-effective way to provide these crucial secondary nutrients to your plants, delivering professional-grade results on a shoestring budget. So there you have it, the secret hiding in plain sight in your cabinet. Epsom salt, or magnesium sulfate, is a true gardening game-changer. It's not magic, it's just simple science. By providing a direct and readily available source of essential magnesium and sulfur, you are empowering your plants to become the best versions of themselves. You're fueling the chlorophyll factories for greener, more vibrant leaves. You're strengthening their foundations with more robust root systems. And you're giving them the energy they need to produce an abundance of beautiful flowers and delicious fruit. It's a simple, inexpensive, and organic way to take your gardening to the next level. If you found this video helpful and are excited to try this in your own garden, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. And for more simple secrets that yield stunning garden results, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a tip. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you ever used Epsom salt on your plants? What were your results? Or maybe you have another secret ingredient that you swear by. Drop your stories, questions, and tips in the comments below. Let's create a community and learn from each other. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.